Now into this, the fourth and final match of this evening. It has been the first round of the Unsquashable Premier League in Auckland at the Squash Excel Centre in West Auckland on the only permanent glass court in the country. And this particular contest is Anthony Lepper in the blue up against Jack Condor in the white. Condor still a teenager. He's from the Titirangi Club in West Auckland as well. Anthony Lepper has a PSA ranking. His current ranking, let's just take a little check on that. Well, his current ranking is 256, just a few spots off his highest of 252. So let's just have a look now. And great to have Joel Ascot with me. And looking at these two players as they get underway, seem to be playing fairly quick as well. Joel, anything particular you're expecting from here? Jack, he's quite a flamboyant player in the way he plays, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit of an unknown, really. Improved a lot in the past year. Sort of come out of nowhere. Players out of Titirangi, which aren't known to produce a massive amount of, young up-and-comers. And yeah, he's doing really well, and he's just started training here recently in the past few months. Loves his physical training, so you can expect to see plenty of grit on show and some funny movements, but he's sort of one of those guys. He'll do anything to get that ball on the front wall, which is good to see. Not necessarily super nice on the eyes, but he's got. If you enjoy some gritty stuff, then he's the type of guy you'll look at.
Yeah, you can see the energy from him.
Yeah.
In just about every point, everything he does.
All his steps, yeah. Certainly a good person to train with. Always up for anything, and just loves it.
And his family name, Condor, is very much associated with the Titirangi Rackets Club in tennis and squash. Certainly, their name is on both the championship wall for tennis and squash. They've been around for a long time. I seem to recall playing against a few tennis players with the same surname. And I believe he was from Mount Albert Grammar. They won a secondary schools title with him in the team last year, I believe. So as we just run through the winners so far tonight, well, the first winner, well, that was yourself, Joel Ascot, and second winner, well, that was in 5 games. Elijah Thomas getting through there. And in the previous match, we did have Temwa Charisi coming through in straight games over Leo Lofa. So let's see if we can get a pattern in this first game. I'm not sure just yet if we've got one.
Right on cue there, off the serve.
You would have played against Anthony Lepper a few times, or at least trained with him?
Yeah, he used to train here. Played him not a huge amount of times, but certainly had some very close ones on this court as well in particular. Always going a 5. Tough guy to play. Knows where to put the ball, and played a lot of squash in his life. Same age. Real competitor.
Now the bounce of the ball at the back of the court seems to be keeping quite low so far in this game. Was it the same thing for you?
A lot of digging, and same at the front as well. Just as soon as it hits the floor, it's gone, and it also almost skids as well. Definitely a tough court to play on, this glass court in cold conditions. You won't see many matches going past the hour mark, no matter the level. We've had 10s and 15Ks and 5Ks here many times, and none of those matches really going past the hour mark. So it just has that effect on the ball, I guess, the glass front wall.
When you last played a tournament of any sort, it would have been the summer series, the Barfoot and Thompson summer series around Auckland, and also in Whakatane as well. That would have been your last tournament you played in the Whakatane tournament?
Yeah, that was.
It was a lot warmer around the whole country then.
Yeah, it was really tough. I remember that weekend in particular in Whakatane being very hot, knackered by the end of it, a lot of squash, a lot of bodies. in the squash club there, well-supported club, and yeah, bit of a contrast compared to this court and the atmosphere at the moment.
Right, and now back to the second game of the final match of the night, the final first round match. And these two players both going at speed again. Anthony Lepper, who is the second ranked player when it comes to rankings, or PSA rankings that is, up against the teenager Jack Gondor. And Joel, pretty much what you expected in the first game?
Yeah, Anthony just finding those corners a little bit better than Jack, and Jack on the receiving end, some tough movements, and the ball just getting away from him, really.
I guess what we're seeing here for someone like Jack, who's a youngster as such, is the experience, or the lack of experience, and maybe the lack of patience at times.
I mean, experience can mean a number of things in squash, but a lot of it is tactics, knowing where to put the ball at the right time, which does come with just playing the game a lot, and especially against guys who are older, stronger, play the game longer, at a higher level. There's a lot to comprehend at that age, and it's a lot to deal with, but nothing better than just getting out there and putting yourself in the deep end like he is at the moment.
For you, what do you expect to change from tonight to tomorrow afternoon?
I guess probably nerves is the big one. All the boys getting back on the court again and competing, not just playing a squash match, but also having that high pressure type of fitness going on at the moment. All that weighing back on your body again. So I expect to see tighter matches tomorrow, of course, with it being the second round. But yeah, just more comfortable play, I guess.
And also it'll be more of the afternoon, between 3 and 6 rather than 6 to 9. So in theory, it should be a little bit warmer, and you should be
we hope so.
More awake. I'm not saying you're asleep now, but you'll be more awake as in daytime mode.
Yeah, afternoon squash compared to night squash at this time of day can be totally different this time of the year with the conditions. As we see it, just the ball's just dying off so fast in this court.
Had the opportunity there, Anthony Lepper, to put that one away.
A lot of balls on his racket at the moment.
Yeah. Both players having errors going into that forehand corner off the backhand volley, and it's just not quite coming off at the moment.
Dealing with that pace off the front wall. I think both players struggling around that middle of the court to get any real length going. I guess when the ball's just dead and you haven't played in a while, it's kind of weird when the ball's coming at you that fast and being on court with someone else. And there we see Lepper just taking the ball early and finding those back corners a little bit better than Jack, but still a lot around the middle of the court.
Perhaps for someone like Jack Condor, when he tries for his winning shots, it's almost that he's trying too much. Would that be the case?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very tense kind of character.
Yeah.
So he really wants to win. You can see that in his body language, and it's a difficult one in squash. It's like playing physical chess. You got to put the ball where it needs to go, but you can't overthink it or be too tense on it. And definitely has a little bit of that problem at times.
Do you have there's four other courts or three other courts here which aren't glass, but do you have another court that you favour or like to play on, or is it always the glass court?
I mean, the glass courts are a real pleasure to play on, obviously. Always opting to play the late night cross court game on this court. But all the courts here are new, obviously. The centre only being 2.5 years old, I believe. So they're all quite fun to play on, pretty lively. But not really. Definitely prefer the glass purely for the showcase. But yeah, all good courts.
So now Anthony Lepper moving away now, 9-6 lead. Knowing that if he just keeps calm and makes Condor play, is it not
Bit of a fluff.
I don't think he's expecting the ball to come straight into his body like that. If he can just keep calm, he'll take this out. Don't need to do too much. Let Condor make the mistakes. Every now and then you just get a ball that just comes at you, don't you?
Yeah, often. When you're used to playing at this level, it can just often be the easy ones that you stuff up.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good example of that one, right in the middle of the court, on his racket. Fluffs it.
I guess there's someone like Glenn Templeton, who's a big, tall guy as well. You can try and cramp him a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's aware of that and able to counteract it. But Anthony Lepper's not necessarily a big guy. He's lean, but he's not your physical and intimidating kind of player.
Definitely uses his squash a bit more than some other players, Paul Cole's our big guy in New Zealand, known for his physicality, but we do have players that can do other things, as we see. You see Jack on the receiving end in this rally, having to retrieve a lot, but he's hanging in there.
Nice change of pace in the rally as well. We've gone from fast to slow.
Just resetting a little bit. Conder going for it.
I guess you could call that a good squash rally.
Yeah, a bit of a defeated movement at the end there. A lot harder than it looks, shall I say, moving into those front corners on this court, and you can see that in Jack's body language at the end of that one.
I guess the patience of Anthony Lepper there to be able to speed it up, slow it down, speed it up a little bit, and then work the point. Stay patient in it.
Also, the physical patience as well. When you're doing all those hard movements, it's a lot to deal with, and soak it up. That's what they like to say, and that was a pretty good example of that.
Exactly. So the second game going the way of Anthony Lepper, 11-9. He took the first 11-6. 2 games to love, and this the final contest of round 1 of Unsquashable Premier League. And back now for the third game of this, the final match of day 1 of the Unsquashable Premier League. Jack Condor, the Auckland junior, hitting a top shot there against Anthony Lepper. Lepper winning the first 2 games, fairly straightforward, in pretty quick-fire fashion as well. These guys don't muck around, that's a nice way of putting it. And Joel Ascott, just watching Jack Condor, he's got the fire and he's got the work. He may not be the... Oh, there you go, we just saw it then. He will try for everything, won't he?
Yeah, he's not one to give up. Leaves it all out there on the court. Not super nice on the eye, but depends what you're into. Just as I say that, he slots a very nice cross-foot neck.
Yeah, it's certainly good to see that he wants to work hard, he wants to play hard. Perhaps he just needs to get a little bit of subtlety, but that could come with age.
It's a good contrast in squash. You see it a lot. The grinders, as they like to call them in squash references. They guys like Nick Matthew, Paul Cole, they're not super flashy, don't have the nicest swing, but they're just so hard to beat, because they keep coming, and it's a great trait to have, and Jack's certainly got that in his game.
Well, the thing was with Paul Cole and even coaches and other people who were in the juniors with him, and when he first started making it into the seniors, was that they had to almost tell him to slow down and not work so hard.
Yeah.
He didn't have the skills as such or the big shots, but he had the work ethic.
I remember one coach telling me that they gave Paul a session, a pressure session, and they had to just leave him on the court because he couldn't walk anymore. That's how long they had to keep the session going for. He just shook his hand and walked off, but no complaints, and that's what it takes.
And just being around other players who have PSA rankings will be good for Jack, and it's good for someone like Anthony Lepper to take on Jack and have to be forced to actually figure out how to beat him. They had to think.
Yeah, Anthony's been in Jack's shoes many times, I'm sure. It's the same when we all go and play Paul and Campbell. It's just on a different scale, really.
Yeah, it must be really annoying to play someone like Paul Cole where you have to play that extra shot or 2 or 10. Probably 10, actually.
Doesn't really matter when you play shots like that, but yeah, they do. The quality does have to be that much better.
What would you call that shot?
I would call it like... I'm not sure. The Simon Rosner slam dunk is what it's known for in Squash TV. That jumping forehand, cross-court neck. Not so much for a slam, though. That was more of a feather.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't know what to call that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice control.
One right too many there. Jack just showing his fatigue a little bit now. Yeah. A couple of cheap errors.
It'll take a little while for everybody to just work their way into the match and figure out what they need to do for whether it's the next round or next tournament.
Just those cobweb feelings, I guess, of playing a match.
Good play. Again, just holding the ball on his racket and just picking where he wants to go. He had the control there. And good to have Heather Finlay here as the official, calling all 4 of the matches. Hasn't had too many issues, only a couple of questions, but we'll see what happens in the next round.
Not too many of the short long calls either, only one so far.
Yeah. I guess you're not really thinking about it too much, are you?
Not really, I completely forgot about it until it happened in Leo and Timwood's match. But hopefully it happens more, it's kind of exciting. We heard all the boys crack up when Leo chose short.
Oh. So what, it hit the back wall and...
It's gone.
Yeah.
Flat as a pancake, as Joey Barrington would say.
So there we go, match ball now. Anthony Lepper against Jack Condor. And this is the final match of the evening. And Lepper just playing, doing what he needs to do. Nothing too amazing with his shots. Knowing he just has to keep Condor out there. What are you going to do if you're Condor on this one? Go for it, because I guess that's what you've been doing the whole time.
Just keep bringing that ball back, really. Make it as hard as you can for your opponent. Give yourself as much time as you can.
He stayed in this rally so far.
Needs to keep lifting here, keep defending. But you don't want to get too defensive, and there you go, he gets a reward.
Well, he's got a couple of points back, from 6-10 down to now 8-10, and on the serve.
Pretty funny how scoreboard pressure can change things in squash. We see it so often with momentum shifts. But, you know, we find it often when you just have that game ball and you need one more point, you know, you see it so often in squash. The person in front seems to fluff it somehow.
Well done there to Anthony Lepper, and that is 11-8, winning in straight games, 11-6, 11-9, 11-8. So taking that one out. And that is the completion of matches for this evening. Congratulations to all winners and to all players as well. That is Unsquashable Premier League for this evening. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. New Zealand time, with the second round. Congratulations to all players, and thank you very much to everybody who's tuned in today to look around the world. Thank you.